So Nikhil, you're next. How would you go about opening up old connections? I met with senior bankers slash C-suite people, didn't have the training to get a recommendation at the time. How would you try to get a recommendation later down the line? Okay, so basically like people that you already networked with that maybe you didn't know what to do back then, and so you didn't get the referral. Um, I guess Nicole, if you unmute yourself for a second, like it depends, right? Like, did the conversation go well the first time? Like, do you guys have a good relationship?
Sure. Yeah. So I met with, like I said, C-suite level people, COOs, CEOs of actually large banks, just off some sort of miracle. And those talks went really well in terms of behaviorals. It seemed like there was a good personality click, but I basically just said I'm really interested in joining, and they said, well, basically, I wish you all the best. I don't have personal pull for the recruitment process, but have you talked to this banker? Have you talked to this banker? And I actually did get some introductions to MDs through those large large calls. But that was about a year or so ago. So I try to nurture those connections with follow-up email every 3 4 months or so. And at this point, I just don't know how I can leverage past recommendations, rather past connections for recommendations.
Hey guys, we're going to get back to the content in just a second here, but before we do that, I just want to ask a quick favor from you. So we don't really promote a whole lot of anything on the channel ever, but if you feel like you're getting value from this, the one thing that you could do to really help us out is to just share this on your socials. So specifically, what you could do is go on Instagram and share this on your Instagram stories, do a screenshot, and make sure to tag us at Wall Street Mastermind. Or you can also click the share button down below just to share this on any other social media platform as well. All right. Now, if you feel like you're getting value from this and you want more content like this, also make sure to click the subscribe button down below. That will just make sure that we can continue to get more of these useful tips into your feed on a weekly basis. And yeah, really just help us promote this through word of mouth. We really appreciate it. And with that said, let's get back to the content.
So for those people, you're gonna stay in touch with them. I think like sending them an update email every 3 to 4 months is a pretty good cadence. We have that template in the networking module and that training on like following up with bankers after your network, and we break out the framework of like giving them a quick update on what you've been up to over the last 3 or 4 months, and especially like just only highlighting the stuff that's relevant or relevant to who you are as a banking candidate, right? Maybe you did some internship that was relevant. Maybe you joined some club on campus. Maybe you did a case competition. Maybe like whatever, right? Like things that you've been doing that that have maybe like you've learned stuff from it. It's made you a better candidate. So you can like touch on those things briefly. Then what's always good is like hopefully you got some advice from them the last time, or maybe in your case, like they introduced you to, XYZ banker and you had a conversation with that banker. And so you can give them an update on that kind of stuff, right? It's like, hey, also thank them again for helping you last time by, giving you XYZ advice. You went out and, follow through on the advice they gave you. And this was the positive result that you got. Or thank you for introducing me to so-and-so at the firm. I ended up having a conversation with them and we talked about blah, blah, blah. And it ended up being a really great conversation. So showing gratitude is always a good thing. And also like showing them that you actually follow through on the thing that they helped you with, so that, because not everyone actually does that, right? Like a lot of times people get advice and they just go out and they don't do anything about it, versus if they gave you advice and you actually went out and did something about it, and you tell them, and then you tell them like, also, by the way, I got this great result from the advice you gave me. Like that's that's like very gratifying for the person that's giving you the advice, right? And also makes them feel like, okay, this person actually listens to what I tell them to do. So now I'm going to be more inclined to continue to help them, right? And so that's always something good to touch on in the email. And then like you usually also want to create like an open loop, right? Like meaning you want to ask them a new question as part of your email, so that they actually have something that they need to respond to, right? Because that's kind of how you get this dialogue going. Because otherwise, you just give them an update and then there's no question, there's no open loop. Like they might read it and be like, okay, great, it's a nice email, but they're super busy and there's no need for them to respond, so they don't respond. And now you're sitting there wondering, like, oh, did they get my email? Why didn't they respond? Did they not respond because they just don't like me? Or like,
Been there so many times.
Yeah, and that happens all the time, right? And so like I would say those are like the main things. But like, go through the training again, like look at the the actual framework that we provide, like don't make it like a super long and wordy email, but you know, people do appreciate you keeping them in the loop and updating them on what you've been up to. And especially some of the stuff we talked about, if you actually show that you listened on your first call with them, and then like just keep them up to date on where you're at in the process, right? And then like you do that enough times, and then by the time when it's actually time to apply, then you send them one last email letting them know that, hey, like, you know, now the application's open. Like, I mean, again, thanking them like, hey, thank you so much for all the advice that you've given me over the past like, you know, however many months. You know, it's been super helpful. I feel like I've learned a lot throughout this process. Wouldn't be like where I am without you. And I saw the applications just open. I'm definitely planning on applying. In fact, you guys are one of my top choices. If there's anything else I can do to, you know, best position myself for an interview, please do let me know. Right. And like that's you reminding them that, hey, you're still here, you're on their radar. By the way, you're gonna apply. And if there's anything that they want to do for you, like now's the time for them to do it. Right. Does that make sense?
Yeah, for sure.
Hey there, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you're looking for more customized advice that's tailored for your specific situation, then I invite you to book a free strategy session with our team at the link below. We'll talk to you soon.